how's it going? My name is Def, and welcome to my VanillaTyme base walkthrough, Season 8. Usually I do these base walkthroughs, or I guess base tours you can call them. Usually I do these base tours silently, but I figured I'd change it up a little bit today. So I'm gonna kind of walk through my base, talk about a couple of the builds, and kind of explain my reasoning for, I guess, what I've done. And so we're kind of in my attic right now. So let's get out of here. We're about 10 months in on the server. I did go inactive for a couple months, so I did maybe about 5 months worth of building. But this is where I started. It's my little starter house. And yeah, over that way you'll see there's a minecart video over here, and that takes you to the Nether hub. And so when people come in, they'll see this, and this is kind of just a it's an explanation of all the different games that I have in my base. And it's kind of cool. I'll show you the gaming district in a little bit. This is my Nether proper portal. We don't go in there. But it's actually the reason why I base down here. Ordinarily, I don't like basing in snow. I mean, come on. I'm Canadian. I already have to deal with snow. I don't want to deal with it in Minecraft. But I did. And the reason is because this portal actually takes you out right next to a Nether fortress. I casted a portal on day 1 and realized where I was and decided that I'd stay here. I probably shouldn't eat while I talk. It's bad habits, you know. Anyway, over here is my villager trade hall. I tried to keep it really small this season because normally I build really massive ones and I just wind up doing villagers all season, and I didn't want to do that this season. So over here we've got our couple farmers. They are also breeders. If I throw them food, you can see this bed's back there, and there's like a little waterway, and it'll actually take the baby down into here, where I can just pick them up. So if I make a baby, I can just press this button over here, and it sends a minecart up with them, and then I can load them in. That zombie you're hearing is actually behind the wall there. I was using it for cleaning. So yeah, just got a nice little kind of cramped villager hall because I wasn't planning on having more than 4 villagers this season, but things got out of hand. Anyway, moving along. This is a Twisted Vines farm. It was actually originally a sugarcane farm, but I changed it up because I built a couple bigger ones, and I wanted something different to put in here. Mostly I just use it for bone meal. In here we have an automatic wheat farm as well as an automatic cactus farm up top. So the cactus just falls into here. There's a minecart collection system underneath, and this guy just has a pocket full of seeds, and he mines my wheat all day. Mines? Collects? Harvests? Whatever you want to call it. And yeah, he does create some bone meal, but it hasn't been enough to break the farm. It's just extra seeds that he's got in his pockets because he does have access to the composter. But as you can see, he makes plenty of wheat for me, so I'll let him do his thing. This is what I like to call the McDonald's Happy Meal. You can see why. This is what I do when I don't have a plan for a build. I just start placing blocks and monstrosities emerge. That's really all I can call it. Ignore him. We'll get to him later. So over here we've got a little automatic storage system with just impulse sorters for the bulk mining blocks. And then I've got a nice organized system for all of my other stuff, which is just manual. I do have a slime-based bamboo farm up above, and that feeds automatically into here. And then this little light turns on if these chests fill up, which remind me that I need to compact blocks down. It'll be really nice when 121 comes out, and I don't have to do that anymore. Over here, you can see my sheep farm, and there's a collecting system down below. We're not going to go there quite yet, but I just want to mention that I also have a melon and pumpkin farm for my villager trades. They're automatic, and any excess just gets bone mealed. The melon farm actually feeds its bone meal downstairs, and that's where we're going to go next. So we come in the house. As you can see, there is something here. What is it? Well, it's an elevator. I wanted to try something different, and I built this very loud. I built this elevator in a creative world and then ported it over. It is based off of, figures. It's based off of skulk sensors. So when you hit the no block, it triggers the correct skulk sensor to either send it up or down. So I've got one on either side, and then it's surrounded by wool. Sometimes chests will also set it off, so occasionally you'll hear it go up and down on its own. I like to think that's a feature and not a bug. In here we've got some more farms, some extra sheep farms just for extra white wool, and I've got honeycomb over here. And this is the bone meal from the melon farm, so I can load up my flower farm, and then I can just make flowers. I've also got lichen farm over here, which is also hooked up to the same system. And over here is my slime farm. Now, I don't know if you noticed up top, but there was like a flat gray area. It's just carpets with half slabs underneath. And that is to increase the rates of the farm here. As you can see, everything's on half slabs all the way down to bedrock, which means that technically the game thinks that this is open to open to the open air. And that will increase the rates of the farm. There's also a pet bat. He is named. We keep him safe in there. And jumping down here, we have the farm output and a couple of other places like my super smelter, my lava farm, and my mud farm. Yes, I said mud. There's nothing in it. It's semi-automatic. Again, one of my own builds. Works pretty well. So, coming back up here, we come out to our propagule farm for mangrove propagules, as well as the output for the sheep farm. So I've set this up so that the shulker boxes will fill first, and then any overflow goes into the chests. Again, just using simple impulse sorters, but this means that I can just pick up a shulker box and then drop it back off when I'm done, which is very handy because I do sell wool in the shopping district. And coming back up here takes us to that little spot that I showed you earlier. Now, last thing in here, aside from this guy, is this little spot here. So we open that up, and this takes us to a nice little hidden spot. And if we press the button, it's a block swapper. And it's got all the important job blocks in here. And again, yeah, designed that myself. It's not perfect. Sometimes it does that. But for the most part, it works pretty well. So I keep. Now, if you're wondering why there's wool everywhere, it's because, as I mentioned before, I don't like snow. So I spawn-proofed everything to keep the snow from spawning. I started doing flowers over here. Yeah, I have a problem. My problem is that I don't have enough flowers. But it's okay. What are you doing? No. None of that. Anyway, yeah, I kind of made it a little bit of a mini mission to try and remove as much snow as possible and keep it from regrowing, but it's a lot. But we move over into a plains as we get over here, and things get a little bit more, well, nice looking. So I'm actually really proud of this area. So on your left, we have the netherwort. It's just a little manual farm, and then we get into this little campfire kind of, camping area with a little fishing dock, some cattails, a little spot to plonk your butt and fish. Oh, I thought it was really cute. And then over here, I actually put a lot of work into this. So it's just a bit of terraforming, but it's got that nice little color pop, the different types of flowers, a lot of greeneries, a little apple tree up at the top using invisible item frames that we have available on the server. Oops, my river. Yeah, it's called Vanilla Tyme. It's kind of vanilla plus. The only things that are not vanilla are mob heads and invisible item frames. And I think you can also turn arms on armor stands, but we don't have the full armor stand mod. Then we got our little dragon buddy over here. Yeah, heroes. And yeah, and then we have a barn with a couple of horses inside. And as we get deeper in, we start to hit the gaming district and museum district. They're kind of mixed together, but I'll do my best to walk through the different pieces. So on the right, we have Hungry Hungry Hippos. Now, I based this build off of the Hermitcraft. Oh, what was it called? It was a Hermitcraft minigame weekend at, I think, ZF's Patreon server, I believe it was. Anyway, I watched them play it. I fell in love with it, and I took a screenshot and rebuilt it based off of the screenshot. It is fully functional, just like you can see in the Patreon server. And yeah, you use fishing rods to pull in items that spawn. Ooh. Awesome. I am collecting map art for one of my museums, so I put out a request for people to donate any map art they aren't currently selling, as I do buy all of the map art that people sell. But anyway, so yeah, so that's Hungry Hungry Hippos. It takes a bit to reset, so I haven't actually had a chance to play it yet. Over here we have Battleship. This is a bit of a manual game with an automatic cleanup. So you use buttons and candles to mark your ships and your shots. And then you can swap out your buttons with ladders when you get hit. And then when you're done, you just press this button. And it just moves all of the blocks, which pops everything off. And you just run around, collect everything, and throw it back in the chest. It's a lot of fun. I've played it once or twice, and a couple of the others on the server have tried it out. And everybody seemed to enjoy it, so it's kind of cool. I used the custom mob heads because we have the player heads in addition to the mini blocks and more mobs. So these are actually just my head. Well, that's fun. And yeah, in order to get the coordinates, so that's your letters and your numbers. Moving on. If we take ourselves across the bridge, we have Leaf Spleef, which is another Hermitcraft inspired minigame. This one was actually built by CubFan135 in Hermitcraft Season 8, and I loved it so much that I have built it in every VanillaTyme map I've played in since. Thunder, can you please stop? Oh, that is not my build, but it is a friend of mine's. He joined the server for a little bit and asked me what I would like in my base, and I said a ship would be cool. I'm thinking of building one over there. And he went, how about I build a flying ship over here? And I went, all right. So he built it. That would be Magaringa. Pretty good builder. I love it. Anyway, moving on. We have, I feel like I'm gonna get hit by lightning if I stay outside any longer. Yeah, so we have multiplayer sleep enabled, like the sleep percentage, but it's set to like 25%, so it takes a few people for it to work. It's fine though. We'll just deal with the thunder boomers. So over here we have a target game. So you can either use your own bow or a practice one. And this is, again, just a little simple one. Hit the target block, lights up the light. There are 10 lights, and once you're done, you can press the button, and it resets everything. I was pretty happy with how this one came out. It's not super complex, just a little bit of redstone. and then you just time yourself manually. I should probably set up like an ether. Blah. I should probably set up like an etho hopper clock or something to kind of mark it, but you know, like to mark your time. But I'm also kind of lazy. So as we move along, we start to enter into what I call the museum district. So this museum is kind of like the general museum. So it's just miscellaneous stuff, things like pots, extra elytras, suspicious gravel and sand, since those are a little bit difficult to acquire. They were actually donated by one of the mods because I'm lazy. Enchanted golden apples, some of the music discs. And then if we come around the side here, this is some of the custom stuff. So we have like some custom items. They're just retextured things, kind of like what Hermitcraft does. So yeah, this is a quick pork chop. But yeah, so they do these for the like some events. I think this was for probably 4th of July. Yeah, 4th of July. Then we had some Halloween stuff, so some people made Halloween banners. We've got some books from different events. Over here, we've got, wow, you can see for yourself. I did a little bit of work. Somebody was offering free copying for armor trims a while back, so my partner actually copied all of them, and then I made copies from his, and then I made copies of my copies, and, well, then we wound up with this. That seller actually stopped selling in the shopping district, and I wound up making an additional set of copies to offer as a free service at my shop, just to make sure that it was still available in the shopping district. Anyway, over here we have the collectibles. Now, the collectibles on the server are it's like a vote reward system, so you have a chance of getting a collectible when you vote for the servers, thing you can do every day for like, I think 6 different servers, or 6 different voting sites. A lot of the kind of gray listed servers do this, I find. And I've been collecting. So you can get different perks like 114 God Armor or a Mob Egg if you collect like a certain number of these. So again, when I say vanilla, it's vanilla plus. There's some extra biddies. I actually did trade-ins on a previous map to get myself a shulker box egg. Sorry, a shulker egg, so I could make a shulker farm in the overworld without having to drag a shulker all the way from the end. So it makes certain things a little bit easier. This time around, I've just been collecting. As you can see, there's also one of the items is a bundle. Bundles are not otherwise available on the server. You can't craft them, as we don't have the experimental feature enabled. So this is the only way to get them. So I have a couple. As you can see, they're called Vocal's Map Holder, as Vocal is the one that designed it. But yeah, and I had my own. So if you complete a set, I think it was like 25, you could get your own created. And I did that a couple of apps ago, and I was going with an alien theme at the time, so I was like an alien undercover. So Steph's ordinary human pants were, you know, also they're very sneaky, because Swift Sneak had just come out. I thought that was a cool little thing. Anyway, moving along, over here we have all of our ores. I thought this was kind of neat. Again, it was a bit of an homage to Cub Fan, because he did the same thing in his museum on Hermitcraft Season 9, and you know, to commemorate his speed run for the All Minerals, I believe it was on 1:16.5 he did it on. Anyway, really good Minecrafter, love his work, so, you know, a little bit of an homage to him there. And if we continue over this way, I've got a little pond that I cleaned up a little bit, and I've got a little axolotl swimming in it. And if we come over here, we have, I guess, the modern proper. I don't know what to call this, but it was all a collection of like my museums and stuff. There's an escape room over there. Excuse me. So in here we have the map art museum that I was talking about before. So I am a fan of carpet-based map art. I do it myself. So as you can see, I have a whole bunch of map arts that I did over the course of the season. I believe I did 12? Yeah, 12. So you can do a lot with just carpets. Like, that's just carpet. Nothing else. But some of our wonderful artists on the server have done some really cool stuff. It's really neat when you can do invisible backgrounds. So the invisible item frames allow you to essentially, if you build in the void, you have no background, and then when you put it on an invisible item frame, you actually see the block behind it, which is really cool. So there's a bit of that. I'm not I don't know. I collect them all. It doesn't mean I understand them. Yeah, one of our server mates basically turned their Nether hub tunnel into a movie theater that only plays the movie Bottoms. So they made this map art to put on the walls of their Nether tunnel to make it look like a movie theater. It's really well done. I've never heard of the film before I saw this poster, but yeah. There's also some a little bit of beef between the Pumpkin Empire and the Melon Empire. That's a thing. And we have a newspaper as well. So yeah, there's quite a lot going on. If we head to the next one over here, this is the Head Museum, and originally I wanted to do something kind of in the line of the Futurama Head Museum, but I realized that without custom armor stands, that would be really difficult to do because you can't really do head in a jar that well. I think you still push a block into an armor stand for a glass block, but that would have been a lot of work. And I instead just decided for, a really stark white museum build, which is, I started that with the map art, and then I kind of moved on to this one and the other one that I showed you. But I've just been collecting mob heads throughout the season, as well as mini blocks. So I've got a lot of custom mini blocks, and all of the official mob heads, as well as some player heads. So these are two of the admins on the server. We've got Duh and Bev over here, and then that would be my base mate Harding and one of the other random server peoples that have come to play the mini games. That would be Muscleman F, and that's me. And yeah, if you want to check out the mob sounds on the official player heads, the official mob heads, you can do that. Now, if we head out from here, the only other build that I can really show off, well, I have two, is the Creeper Farm, which is behind Harding's base, which is this way. And off in this direction, there is my map art area, which I actually do want to show off because there's something cool over there. But let me fly over Harding's base. He has converted a village into a little custom village, but over here you can see our 4-tower creeper farm. It's got a shulker loader at the bottom, which I added later, which is why you can see a whole bunch of regular chests, as that is the old overflow. And yeah, it's an old shulker loader design I just found online. I'm not great with shulker loaders, so I kind of just pulled one. I am probably going to use a more compact design in the future, as I've seen a few hermits building. Yeah, and if you're wondering why I keep saying hermit and hermitcraft all the time, it's because I watch them, obviously. They're amazing. If you don't, you should check them out. And yeah, we AFK up here, and we get lots of gunpowder. It's insanely fast, even though we haven't quite lit up the caves underneath, but the spawn area is pretty much just over water for the most part, so there's really not a lot of cave lighting that we would need to do to make it fully efficient. But it's not necessary. As you saw, like the shulker boxes that were in that chest there that I opened, like those are all full of shulker. Those are all full of gunpowder. Now, if we fly over here, we have the map farm. Yeah, this is the map art area. So I wanted to show this off because, as I said before, I only work with carpets. I am not like the vintage beef. I cannot make really good map art with multi-blocks and stuff like that. That takes forever. And carpets are pretty easy to place down, and you can pick them up really easily with sticky pistons. And a funny thing about carpets is if you lift one with a sticky piston and it's now sitting on air, it breaks. So these flying machines, I have them segmented. I have them segmented to avoid lag because I don't want these all going off at the same time. But each of these buttons sets off a set of 4, I think. Yeah, 4 of these machines. And they just run along and pick up the carpet. And it just falls on the ground, and I just run around picking it up. I originally had plans to set up a minecart collection system to scoop up all the carpets automatically, but I mean, look at the size of this thing. That would have taken so many rails. I didn't even finish the platform before I gave up on the idea. So I just pick up manually. I activate one of these or 2 of these, modules at a time. I run down and up, and I fill up my pockets, and I unload it over here. So again, I really like the impulse sorters. They're simple. They're great for, this amount of items. And all of my overflow goes in here so that I can reuse those carpets for new projects. So that is how I built my 12 maps this season. Now, I know what you're thinking. You saw a big castle structure, this thing over here. It's not done. I have no plans for this. I just started placing blocks one day, and this sprung up almost overnight. I don't know what to do with it. I think the turrets here, whoops, or whatever they're called here, are too short. I think they need to be taller. They should probably be taller than this wall, like by a large margin. And this bit here, I kind of want to tear down and pull up here. So that, and then put another one on the other side so that it actually has a little bit of, you can see it from the ground. Because right now, when you go down to the ground, you can't see that at all. So there's some stuff I want to change. Obviously, it's not textured or anything either. It's just stone bricks. And then this back bit, I want to fill this in, put something else on top of it, and then maybe have like a princess tower or something in the corner. I'm not really sure what yet though. And then this whole back area is supposed to be like a courtyard, and I haven't really decided what I'm going to do with it yet. And that's almost it. I think. Oh yeah, I do have a couple more games. There is Connect 4 over here, which just uses gravity blocks. I believe we use, just colored concrete powder. You place them on the top. Or you can even open it and place it in here. It works too. But yeah, so it's a regular game of Connect 4. And then when you're done, you just press this button. That's not a button, that's a lever. You press the lever. And yeah, it opens it pulls these back. Actually, let me do it again. Pull the lever, Kronk. And it pulls back into just a set of half slabs, so the concrete breaks when it lands on it because they're gravity blocks and they can't sit on half slabs. And then there's hoppers underneath, and it just pulls it right back into the barrel here. Nice and simple, nothing too special. And behind this ship, there is a parkour map that I have not been able to do myself. My server mates, 2 of them have managed to complete this thing. If you want to see me attempt this, let me know down in the comments. But honestly, this thing is hard. I'm not great at parkour, and there's some sneaky stuff in here. It's a slime block based parkour map, which means that there are moving parts. Like this thing pushes up and down. There's a tripwire that triggers this slime block to punch you up. There's a flying machine that acts as a horizontal elevator. Like there's a lot going on in this thing. It's really cool, but it's kind of hard. And like I said, I haven't been able to do it yet. Now, what are these rings? What are the rings, you say? Steph, what are the rings? What do they do? I'll tell you what they do. This is a parkour. Did I say parkour? This is not a parkour. This is a electric course. So you see the numbers in this wonderful map here. You can see that it actually takes you in a big ring all the way around the area. And to end this base tour, I figured, you know, let's just go on a little ride through the electric course. I've had a lot of practice at this. I occasionally knock my head once or twice, but this one is always the one that gets me. Oh, and we're good. And then this one here is a bit tricky because it actually goes underwater. But we're good. We're fine. We're killing it. And here's the bamboo farm if you're curious. And we got sugarcane in here. Yes, it's not moving because it's full. I really don't need more sugarcane. I have so much. Like, I have another one over here because I was selling, well, am selling rockets, but it's full, so it doesn't run anymore. And I think that's it. Thanks for coming to my base tour. And to cap it off, I think we're just gonna go on a little ride. I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care now. Bye-bye then.